to the Wasting Time podcast. I think this is episode 44. Chris, does that sound right?
I'm like 90% sure. I'm 90% sure that's what we're at the minute. Every time we're about to go and do one of these intros, I always think, right, I must quickly check where we're up to, and then I always forget. But I'm fairly sure we're up to 44 at this point. How you doing, man?
Almost at the big 5-0.
Yeah. It's creeping closer to that.
Are we gonna do anything to celebrate?
I don't know.
I don't know. What do people do when they like hit landmarks with their podcasts?
Yeah, I can't think of any particular examples. Anything to follow.
We don't throw a podcast party or anything.
No, unless you can think of how to do one. I guess it'll also be interesting to see which guest we fall on for that one.
Yeah, we should try and line up a big name for that one. Eh?
Yeah. If you could pick anyone for number 50, who would you pick?
Oh wow, that's a question and a half.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I need some time to think on that.
Right.
I mean, if you want to go by like status,
yeah,
you want to kind of aim high. Someone like I guess like Mark Hoppus. So I guess that would be a nice booking, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I could certainly live with that one. Yeah. Yeah, someone like Mark Hoppus or Travis Barker, I suppose. One of the Madden twins, or someone like Mike Ness, someone like that. Just all the big names in the bands that we're into, I suppose.
Well, let's see what we can do. Eh? It
we'll
might be a little out of reach.
Yeah. So how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. I guess it all seems pretty quiet in the music world at the moment. I guess the world's in a bit of a crazy place at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess there's quite definitely a lot of musicians rallying around that, though, right? And,
yeah.
Kind of getting out and campaigning and protesting. And you see Machine Gun Kelly and Travis did a cover of Rage Against the Machine.
They did. I actually haven't listened to it yet. I've been meaning to, but I haven't got around to it yet. But yeah, that's a nice touch. And yeah, it's cool. Like you see lots of bands being quite active. Like as you'd expect, people like Anti-Flag being very vocal on their social media and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Menzinger's released a song like donating proceeds to the cause. So
is that the America Part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet.
No, I haven't. I haven't either. I only saw that this morning, but I'll be listening after we've done this.
Did you see the announcement that Frank Turner is doing an album with NoFX?
I did. Which
is going to be a mashup. Have I got that right? Is that like
it's them covering each other's songs? Yeah. So that's obviously what he was hinting about when we spoke to him. He said they'd been working on something that they'd be announcing. So yeah.
And was it Bob that they really kind of half did a preview of Frank Turner doing Bob?
Yeah, so that's been released. Frank at the time of recording, Frank Turner doing Bob, and also NoFX doing Thatcher, Fuck the Kids.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's up there too.
I'll have to check that one out.
It's cool. It's definitely worth listening. Yeah, so we're gonna get a release of them doing more of that. So I'm looking forward to that. NoFX I don't know how many times NoFX have done this before, but I remember specifically the classic NoFX Rancid split EP when they covered each other. Do you remember that?
No, but I've got terrible memories. So.
Well,
I probably have listened to it.
I'm sure you did at the time, but it's worth going back and listening to it again. There's some fun covers on it.
Yeah,
like NoFX's stripped back version of Radio is pretty cool. So, yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, it just reminded me the other day about NoFX and the book they released.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I might actually go back to that and give that another go. The hepatitis bathtub.
Yeah. Did you read it at the time?
I didn't read it. I got the audio book because it was all narrated by essentially the members of NoFX.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Yeah, it was the way to do it. I might actually revisit that.
Yeah, I'll still have it on my Audible. Yeah, it's crazy.
Some of the stories in that are crazy.
It's funny because I've always kind of liked NoFX, never been a huge fan, but then when I listened to that kind of turned me onto them more in a way, just because I just found that so compelling in a lot of ways, that book.
I mean, I had no idea some of the journeys they've been on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was a bit of an eye opener, really.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I remember after listening to that, I went and watched all of their backstage passport things
Yeah,
they
yeah,
did.
they're good
Did you
fun.
watch any of those?
I've watched them all,
Oh, you have
not
as well.
not
Okay.
directly after listening
Right.
to the audiobook, but yeah, they're always good fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But not really anything on my radar at the moment.
No, it's
I
like
guess
been quite quiet for me as well.
I saw that well, Friends of No Effects Less Than Jake have brought something out. You go and have a look at that and see what
Yeah,
that's like.
I know.
I think it's just a
I haven't
single.
listened to that either. I mean, I don't know what I've been doing the last couple of days. Look at us coming to this intro, just going like, yeah, this is out, haven't listened to it. This is out, haven't listened to
Yeah,
it. Sorry, listeners, we'll do better next time. But we promise we've got a cool interview, so, you know.
yeah. Well, we
This
may
bit
as well
doesn't
just
matter.
get into that. Seems
Yeah,
we've got
shall
fuck
we?
all else to talk about.
Yes, so we had the pleasure of talking to Alex Costello, who's the singer for the Eastbourne band Rome, and we got into the career of Rome and the crazy heights that they've experienced so far, and I think it's a cool listen. So today we are joined by Alex Costello, who is the frontman of the band Rome. How's it going, Alex?
I'm great. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Not
Yeah.
bad. Thanks so much for giving us some of your time today.
No worries.
Where are you right now? What part of the world?
So I'm in Eastbourne. This is where, this is where I live. We got the beach. It's very nice. Very nice to just keep going down there. You know.
Yeah, I bet.
Are you Eastbourne born and bred? Because I know obviously.
No,
Rome
I'm
is
actually.
from
I'm actually. I was born in Derby, and then
Oh,
I
right.
grew up in Derby like until I was about 12.
Yeah.
And then because of my dad's job, we moved down to Eastbourne, and then from there just stayed in Eastbourne.
Got it. Okay.
I remember getting told that we were gonna have to leave Derby, and
Yeah.
I cried my eyes out.
It's funny. I can relate to that, and ironically, so for me, I grew up in Brighton until I was 11, and then
Really?
I moved to Morpeth, which is just north of Newcastle, when I was 11, and so I can relate to you. Like, I was absolutely devastated when that happened.
Oh mate, yeah, especially when you're like that age, you know,
Right? Yeah.
that
yeah.
area time. You're like, oh, my friends. Can I
Yeah,
take them?
yes,
I literally said to my mum, "Can I take my friends with me?"
So all the rest of the boys still living in Eastbourne. Then are you all kind of?
Yeah, everyone like we live pretty close to each other. Like everyone's pretty much a 10-minute journey, a car journey. Everyone's in Eastbourne
Right.
except from the drummer Miles, who lives in Hastings, which is
Okay,
like 40
yeah.
minutes away. So yeah, we're pretty close to it. It's like Eastbourne's quite a small town, so everyone's quite close to everything. It's like the furthest you go is like 15 minutes out.
Right.
So
Right.
it's quite a cute little town.
You guys have never been tempted just to move over to Brighton with, obviously Brighton's quite a happening place
I mean,
these days.
it's funny. It's funny you say that. It's like only like 2 years ago, I really wanted to move over to Brighton. I thought it was like the coolest thing. And then I stayed there for a bit, just at one of my friends' apartments,
Right.
just for a while, and I was kind of over it.
Oh, really?
But I don't know whether because I was on my own in this apartment, but I don't know whether it was just the fact that I was on my own or whether I just didn't really vibe with Brighton as much as I thought I would. And then
that's
I don't know.
interesting.
I've just got this thing with Eastbourne. My heart's in Eastbourne.
Got it, right. And it's funny you say that as well, because I mentioned I lived in Brighton until I was 11 and then moved to the northeast. Then I went to Sussex Uni, because I was just desperate to get back to Brighton the whole time.
Really?
And when I moved back there as an adult, it didn't vibe with me either.
That's-
And
that
I've
is-
lived in London for about 12 years now, and I'd take London over Brighton any day now. And it's nice
Really?
to go there every now and then, but personally I couldn't live there either.
Really?
So how have the last few weeks been, like life in Eastbourne under lockdown? How have you been coping with that?
I mean, I'm doing all right. Yeah, I think it's very nice time for a creative person, for people, for people to have this time where they can like just try new things, be creative, and I'm kind of one of those people. So doing that, I've just been every day pretty much writing every day, writing not just Rome stuff, but like other things with other people, and
Okay.
just doing different things every day, and then just going outside a lot and going to the beach a lot.
So what did you kind of have in the kind of immediate future then that's kind of been stalled? Obviously, you're on the Slam Dunk bill this year, but do you have much in the way of tours and shows all booked up?
We were just about to book something over the summer, and then it was like a week before, and then the whole lockdown happened, and we were like, right, well, we can't really do that then. But yeah, we had like Slam Dunk planned and some other festivals, and it was looking like a cool summer. And then so we were looking to expand on it, and then kind of just shut down all the plans for that. And so luckily we didn't have to. I mean, the only two things that we had to cancel were they cancelled was like Slam Dunk and 2,000 Trees.
You on that as well? Okay.
Yeah, which is a shame, but obviously you can't really do anything about it. But yeah, so I mean, I was excited, but it's what it is.
What was the last tour you were on? Like, what was happening? When this all kind of kicked off in March for you? Was it some downtime or at the time, or were you kind of in the middle or something?
We just finished a tour. Like we did a tour. It was a UK tour, like independent venue week tour, where we went around all these like smaller cities and played small venues, and it was a great tour. Loved it. Played places like York and Margate and stuff.
Oh, nice,
I really loved it. It was a proper like, just playing like little sweaty shows. It was great. And we came off that like at the start of February, so I think it was like the 6th of February. So it was like a month before everything happened, and I remember Matt got proper ill. Like he looked like he had a flu, like, and he was proper bad, like through like 6 days of the tour, like to the end.
Right.
And he was very bad. And looking back to it, we were like, did he actually have it? Like,
yeah,
it's actually nuts. Yeah. Like, because you don't know whether people take it differently, and some people react to it differently. But Matt had the flu on our tour, and that was close to that time. And I don't know. We'll never know really.
Yeah.
unless we get tested and we're able to see that if people have had it or not.
Yeah. I suppose. Well, fingers crossed for you that I guess it was that, because then obviously, you've been exposed to it and you're okay. But you just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe soon.
Yeah, so obviously, I guess nothing's going to be booked for the immediate future now. It's like you say, is it just kind of writing? And I mean, you got the option to kind of record some stuff as well? I mean,
like we've got the stuff to kind of record stuff here. So I think that, and then we'll sort out a way to maybe do some rehearsals in the future. And I mean, I'm looking at some new stuff. Been writing that kind of new stuff kind of vibe, and so yeah, we don't know what we just don't know what's going to happen with even studio times and all that kind of stuff. So we're just kind of like making demos and that kind of stuff, and using the most out of this time. I think it's a very valuable time to have, like, for a writer. This is the time that you want. It's just time to do it all.
It's good that you're taking advantage of it in that respect, for sure. Had you after the last year's record, had you talked about, like, when you were going to perhaps do another full length, and like what kind of direction you were going to go in, or were you just more so just kind of riding that one out still?
We were like only up until 2 months ago, where we started talking about doing some new material. So we were kind of still riding on that last record.
Yes.
And obviously, like, after all this, thing is over, that it's going to be a time where people are going to be wanting to hear new music, and kind of like, you know, got over the fact that you just put out a record about a year and a half ago, you know. So I think, you know, looking at doing something, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking to some of our last guests as well around the appetite for kind of new music, but the appetite as well when kind of when live music does become a thing again and venues can start to open up. You'd hope that like people will just be like desperate to go and see bands again, get out to live venues, probably more so than before. You know,
I was chatting to my manager about it, and I was like, it could be actually very good, like, eventually when we get there, that people won't be so picky, choosy about, like, things like shows anymore, and they just will go, yeah, I'll go to it, and, like, you'll see a lot more, you know, a lot more success in shows and that. And that is something that every band wants to see, you know. So it could be positive, all, you know.
Where would you like your kind of first show back to be if you could choose any? Right.
Oh, good question, Nick. I like that.
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe a London show, like a small London show or something like that, might be quite cool. I think it would have to be something near our area.
Okay. What are some of your favourite smaller London venues? Like, when you say that, what venues do you have in mind?
I remember we played you know, Barfly. What's that changed to now? What's it called?
I don't know what Barfly is these days.
It's like Camden something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, does it still do live music upstairs at the Barfly?
I thought it just changed name, and it's still a venue.
Okay. Because I haven't seen or known of anyone playing there for ages.
Oh.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be fair. But yeah, something like that. I remember we played the bar. I remember we played Barfly, like it was 5 years ago, and you know, we just put out our Viewpoint EP. And I remember it being a crazy show. There's like a little video that we found, and it was like of the show, and we're like, that was nuts. That was so fun.
Nice.
So excited to do something like that again, you know. Or whether it's Brighton or Eastbourne. We don't really have any venues in Eastbourne. We had when we were, you know, first starting out, there was one venue, and it was just a pub, and it is like a 50-cap pub that the people didn't really, they loved the fact that, you know, there was kids and they wanted to go crazy to the music, so they loved all the moshing and all that kind of stuff. And it was just amazing because there was no, like, you know, there was not really any rules. It was like, if you get hurt, then whatever, and it's kind of your own fault. But they accepted it all, which was great. Just people moshing in their pub whilst people are just over there getting a little drink. But like, I'm talking tiny little pub in Eastbourne.
I guess was that right at the start then, when you guys were just kind of coming together?
Yeah. A few shows there, yeah.
Cool. So did you guys all meet kind of in school, or I mean, I assume you
were. So me and Alex, the other singer and guitarist, we went to school together. So I met him when I was in year 7, which is 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we didn't really get writing together until we were like year 9, 10. You know, we just, I don't know. I didn't think we knew much about bands or anything like that. We just knew like, Nickelback, Simple Plan, stuff like that, you know. Yeah. And you didn't actually think you could actually do anything with music, at that time.
Right.
But then we started writing when we were like getting into year 10, year 11, and then we started a band in college. I met Sam, and he was very much into like the same type of music that I was into at that time. And
which was
kind of like You Me at 6, and it was that time, you know, when they were popping up. And you know, and so I was like, yo, we're gonna start a band. It's gonna be great. It wasn't. It was it was our first band. It was very like just pop songs, pop punk, like the most pop side of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was me, Sam, Alex, and then our old drummer Charlie. I knew Charlie through playing football. We played for the same football team.
Right.
Yeah, and so that was our first band. I was playing guitar, and then Sam actually played guitar, but he was playing bass in this band. And then I decided that he should play guitar, and then I'll go on to bass because he's good at guitar and he wants to be on guitar. So I said, you go on guitar, I'll be on bass. I don't know what I was doing. It may, I didn't realize that I was supposed to be the backbone of the song, playing the bass. I just thought it was like another guitar. And then so we finished that band. That wasn't really getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to go on vocals. And then we met Sam had a mate called Matt who was in another band that Sam was half in, and he played bass but like only just like started playing bass. So he was like, oh, do you want to try out for our new band we're gonna make? And so he was like, yeah, sick. So there was now 5-piece. It was me, Sam, Alex, Matt, and Charlie. And that's where Rome started. Then we did our EP in Eastbourne.
And like, I'm assuming from the name, like you guys were like into Story So Far and stuff like that at that point. Yeah.
So when Rome was starting, like what we listened to was Set Your Goals, Such Gold, Story So Far, Man Overboard. It was all that stuff,
Yeah.
And that was the first kind of stuff we liked. And when we were coming up with a name for the band, we didn't necessarily go, oh, Story So Far are cool, let's call them up. It was more of we had an iPod and we were shuffling through songs just to find a band name. And we came across Rome. It wasn't, it was like, we came across Rome and we were like, the fact that we want to be able to travel with this band is kind of like a great name for it.
Right, okay.
And so we were like, that's sick. And we didn't really, because at the time, Story So Far were like, no one really knew of them. We went to see them play a show at Tunbridge Wells, and there was about 20 kids in the crowd. That was it.
Yeah.
So they had just released Under Soil and Dirt, and like no one knew about this band. So it was like, and they were like just before that album got massive,
right?
And we decided to call ourselves Rome. We got some for that, but I think it benefited us in a way. And anyway, it's like being called Rome and like linking to pop punk. It was just like, oh, that's cool. Anyway, so I think it did good for us.
So were you just mainly playing around like Eastbourne and Brighton? Like what was the scene like? Like what bands were you playing with at this point? Like once it's become Rome and you're kind of driving it.
So once we were Rome, Eastbourne had this weird hardcore scene at the time. It was like a Hastings and Eastbourne hardcore scene. Just loads of hardcore bands, and we were like the pop punk band on every hardcore show. Right. So that's how we started off doing it. Yeah. Like Giants came to Eastbourne and we supported them. Right. And that was like, it was a great show. Like a lot of kids came out for that. Giants, this band called Illusions, hardcore, and then another band that were my mates in, and then us, the pop punk band, to start with. Hey guys, and yeah, we booked our own tours at this time. We just went, right, let's find pop punk bands in different areas, find out where they're from, make them do a headline show, and we'll just do support. So we were like, Leicester, let's find a band in Leicester, find a venue, make them be the headliners, and we'll be the support. All like that. And we did like a Midlands tour as our first kind of thing, and then we did like a little weekender, which was like Margate. Was it Margate? I don't remember actually. Canterbury and stuff like that. It was more like Kent.
Okay. What were some of the bands that you were doing this with?
Oh, we did it like it wasn't like a touring, like, bands with us. It was literally
like
we were
band per place, the local,
we were the touring bands, and they were the local bands. So we just used the local bands, and then we'd get onto their thing. And I mean, that helped a lot, just the fact that they would bring people because they were the locals, and we just got to play in front of new people every time. And and that was that first kind of tours that we did.
And did that kind of... Sorry, go on, Nick.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, how did that kind of fast forward into kind of that kind of strong following that I guess kind of got Hopeless kind of involved? Is it what happened within that kind of period?
Okay, so after that, we decided we were so stoked on just like the fact that we were playing shows everywhere. Like we could just do it. We've done it now. We're able to just keep, booking shows. Like we played like a random show with Tonight Alive in Brighton, and we were like, whoa, like we're making it now. This is it. Like we were the first band on this Tonight Alive show, and we were just like, this is nuts.
What venue was that
at? The Haunt.
Oh, the Haunt. Okay.
I do love the Haunt. The Haunt's it's different now. I've not been to it now, but yeah. And so, we're kind of like just on the verge of doing some like bigger stuff. Yeah. And I remember actually, I just thought that like there was a talk. This was the time where we were talking, like me and Alex, and we were like, do we carry on, like kind of thing. We already had like that kind of doubt whether we should carry on or not, because we were at the time we were like 19, and we were trying to make it as a band, and everyone else is going to uni and stuff. Everyone else is like, go and do law degrees, and we're like, let's try and do a band and like play some pubs.
I guess you were all kind of working jobs as well, I guess, were you?
So I think at this time we were, just seeing what was going to happen, and so we had like 5 songs like already ready to record. So we went and recorded in Kent this EP called Head Down, which is still today is one of my favorite pieces of work we've ever done. And I don't really know how we actually accomplished it, and because it's just, I don't know, I think it's a very special piece of music, that whole EP. And I think that was definitely a step. And so with this EP, we wanted some help with like putting it out, and actually like we put all our money together. We got all like, I think it was like 500 quid each, got it all together, all 5 of us, and we were like, okay, so this is going to pay for recording, artwork, and then PR. And we looked up some PR that was local to us. It was in Brighton, and so we hit them up, and it was actually Leander, who's Neck Deep's manager.
I know him, yeah.
And this is the time where Neck Deep were like coming up, and we were like, oh, that's cool that like there's another pop punk band out there. It's like boosting that kind of pop punkness. And we're like, that's sick. And at this time, actually, they were doing their first tour, I think, or something, and they needed a support band in Southampton, and we were like, we'll do it. 2 hours away, we'll be a support band. We'll be the first on, and we played the show. It was a one-off show, and I remember Danny, the drummer, he bought one of our shirts, and we were like, oh, sick, bro. Thanks, mate. And and then we talked to him for a bit and had a little relationship like start there, and from there, like with our press for this EP, it really helped us get into like things like rock sound, just like the tiniest little like mentions, but it was just like great for us. We couldn't believe it. And
that's good exposure.
Yeah, it was great exposure, even though it was like about a sentence long. Going, there's a band in Eastbourne. Did you know? We were like, this is the sickest thing. So yeah, and then Leander hit us up saying, hey, Neck Deep are doing a headline tour and they want you guys doing it with them because they liked who you were, and from the show that we played with them, and we were like, whoa, what, like a real tour? That's nuts. And they're like, yeah. They're releasing their Wishful Thinking album, and we were like, yes. We were like 100%.
Yeah,
and
that must have been,
it was exciting because I remember going to see Matt, our bass player, and going, mate, we're going on tour Neck Deep January. It's like a 3-week tour, and we were like, what? Oh, sick. So really, like, Neck Deep were a big help to like us taking us on tour and that, and
that must be
we got close with them, and it was just a great little friendship. And it was just we bought a little van, and we took our mate Elliot, who was a videographer, just to film. And we were like, we don't need a merch guy, we'll do it ourselves. So instead of taking a merch guy, we took a videographer and started just filming stuff and having footage. I think that was the start of us filming stuff. We filmed a lot of stuff.
Right.
And then we did this tour, and it was like mental, and it was like the best time ever. And then at this moment, we just got our manager.
What kind of venues were Neck Deep doing at that time?
We did we did Barfly. I remember that. We did, I think it was called Audio in Glasgow. I think it's Audio. It's underneath a bridge, whichever that one is.
Right.
We did Manchester Sound Control, pretty sure. Yeah, Sound Control in Manchester. Yeah, and we just did all these. They were like 200 cap venues, but they were selling them out, and we were like, "That's just sick, mate.
Yeah,
we're actually playing to people now." And like people, we had Head Down out, the EP, and we had some merch that like was very linked to the Head Down EP, and kids were freaking buying it, man. It was mental. We were like, what is going on? And these kids just like loving it.
Is this early 2014?
Yes, this is 2014.
Yeah. I remember around that time you guys came and played. Do you remember Punktastic used to do a night at the Old Blue Last every month? And I think you guys came and headlined one of those at that time, I remember.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Wow, yeah. We played that like 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun venue as far as the smaller ones go.
Yeah, that is. But yeah. So after that, we came off the tour like, oh, that was sick. And then Leander told us that they had signed to Hopeless, and we were like, that's so cool, man. Like, what? Like a UK little pop punk band signing to the other end of the world in California with like people like All Time Low and Newfound Glory. And we were like, that is nuts. And then we were like, okay, that's sick. And we were like, oh, sick. Like maybe the scene is, maybe something's actually popping off, you know? And then we got back off the tour, and I looked at the Rome emails, and I saw an email that just said, hi guys, I like your music. Can I have more, please? And I was like, all right. Looked down, and it said Hopeless Records. And I was like, it was funny because I was like, this sounds like an absolute child asking for more music. And I sent it to my manager. I was like, is this actually Hopeless? Because it sounds like a kid. And he was like,
fucking with you.
Yes, that's Hopeless. And I was like, oh, And so from then on, they were like, "Yeah, we want to chat with you over." We did a Skype call, chatted to them. It was sick. We were like, "What is actually going on?" And so we chatted to this with their A&R guy for ages and just discussed stuff until they were like, "Yeah, we wanna sign you." And so we were their second English act ever, which is pretty, like, I think that's after Neck Deep, which is, I'm totally fine with that. It's like, it's such a great thing to have, known that we were the second British act getting signed.
Yeah.
And we were so stoked about it. Like, yeah.
Pretty
we were like,
pretty defining
labeled.
moment for you guys.
Yeah.
I guess, really.
And we got into the local paper as well, like Eastbourne band signs to American record label.
Oh, nice.
And we were like, this is so sick. And so, yeah, that's how we signed with Hopeless. And yeah.
So what did you agree with Hopeless from the off? Because you brought an EP out first, didn't you, with those guys?
Yeah, we were like, we don't think we're ready to bring out an album yet. We're still trying to learn who we are, really.
That was them, and not that was you. Then
yeah, that was us. We were like, we want to do an EP. They were like, that's fine. Yeah, do an EP. And so they put out an EP, and then they have 3 albums with us. So yeah, we did an EP and then 3 albums, and it was great. And it really did help that EP was a very good little launching platform for us. To then go to make people a bit more excited for like our next release, instead of just going like, boom, here's an album, being like, here's a little teaser, then an album.
So was it Hopeless that kind of then started to kind of open the doors for you outside of the UK with shows and tours and stuff?
Outside of the UK, yeah, they did help with like our first tour in the US. Like, it was set it off against the current as it is and us.
Oh, so you had some people from home.
Yeah, we had As It Is from Brighton with us.
Yeah, I was going to say they're from Brighton, aren't they?
So yeah, we used to do shows together when we were small. They were the only other pop punk band. So yeah, we did those kind of shows together, and it was good. So yeah, it was quite nice going over there, knowing the other guys. We actually shared a little van with them. There was 13 of us in this little van. And
right, okay.
Mate, honestly, flipping heck. Worst idea. There was no room. There was no room in this van, but we were like, yeah, go on then. And then, like, most nights, we didn't have a place to stay, so we just, like, make it up. I don't know, It was a mess. But, honestly, no regrets. But yeah, so like Hopeless did help us out with that kind of stuff, and obviously with Warped Tour as well. We didn't have a contact to get to Warped Tour, but then Hopeless did, and they liked off.
That must have been another bit of a defining moment for you guys. I mean, to get that first Warped Tour kind of gig.
Yeah, like, I didn't actually know much about Warped Tour at all. Okay. I didn't actually know, like, I heard a little bit about it, but I didn't realise it was as great as it was. Right. And then, so I had to go and see it. Well, like, when we did it, I was like, okay, I get this. This is so good.
Chris and I were, I guess, in a band, 15, 20 years ago, Chris? Yeah. And, that was, like, that was the dream, the ambition was kind of, I guess,
Warped Tour.
Yeah.
Mate, definitely. Honestly, it's still to this day one of the best tours I've ever done. And like, I didn't know much about it at all. We didn't know much about the States at all, really.
Right. I mean, I've got to say, because I was in a band more recently, and like, when I saw like you guys and As It Is going over and doing Warped Tour, because like we weren't on your level, but we kind of like the maximum level we got to was like we got signed to the same label as Gospel Youth and like put out splits with them and stuff, So like like we're a few steps down, like, but but as Nick's saying, it being a dream of mine for many years to do Warped Tour. So when I see you guys doing it, I was just like, yeah, that's pretty sweet for them.
Yeah. So, oh mate, I was so blessed. blessed to have that.
Like who were some of the big acts on that Warped Tour that you did?
There was a lot, man. There was like Sum 41, Story So Far, I think now, Yellow Card, trying to think, a lot of metal bands too, like so many.
Right. Did you? And being on Warped Tour, did you get to like hang out with a lot of these people a lot?
Yeah, it's actually great because you
you
park up like, you park up next to it. Like every day you're parked up to next to someone different. They just it's all random, but it's just great. It's just a little traveling community, and you just get to know people.
Yeah.
And you just go up to anyone, and you're just like, "You're all right? How's it going? What do you do?" All that kind of stuff. It's just so nice. It's such a beautiful community on that Warped Tour. Like, I really do hope they do something like that. I heard Kevin Lyman mentioning something that might be coming.
Right.
But I just hope it's something similar to that, because that is such a great time of just hanging out with people, having friends, and meeting people. Building friendships.
Have you done the full run before? I know, because I mean, we've spoken to a couple of guys who've done it, and they say it is like so relentless to do the whole thing, and it can
we
be
did
a bit
the whole
knackering.
We did the whole 7 weeks.
Yeah,
and it was
right. Okay.
But the thing is, like, this was our first ever time actually getting some sort of bus kind of vehicle, right? So we had this thing called a bandwagon, which is, it's basically like a bus, but it's just got a trailer on the back, and it's basically it's got a shower, bunks, and like a fridge, a cooker, and stuff. And we kind of was like, okay, if we're gonna be doing this for 7 weeks, we want to try and do it in like nice style. So we did it, and because all we'd ever known is sleeping on laminate floors, wooden floors, and you know, for us, we were like, this is so good. This is peng. Whereas everyone else, like a lot of more people are like, oh, I literally can't do it. But we were like, because we literally slept in just dirty, horrid places, that we were so like, mate, I've actually got a bunk. Like, this is so good. Couldn't sleep
so
though, because the driving overnight, literally, I could not sleep because it's just like rocking all the time.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, like, you know, we were so like, this is just beautiful. Just getting to sleep whenever we want in our own bed on tour. And that was, just
and then
beautiful.
You got the weird thing of on Warped Tour when you don't know what time of day you're going to play each day as well, I suppose.
That's so funny, yeah. Like, sometimes you're playing at like 11:15 and you're, oh my gosh, like, and you because you go out in the mornings and try and, like, you know, sell your CDs to all these random kids, you know, and so every band kind of does it, and you're just trying to get your band out there, and then you come back and they're like, didn't you hear, we're playing in like half an hour? And we're like, oh, what? And then you have to go and warm up, run on stage like early in the morning. But it was actually sick, and I think it's such a respectful way they do it in the whole, like, you know, having bands play all different times every single day. It's just great. Yeah. It gives everyone a chance, and it's just a fair way of doing it. Yeah. Except from, you know, like the big stages will always have a big act at the end.
Of course. Yeah. There's got to be some leeway for that, of course. Yeah. So was it after that first Warped Tour that you did you go straight to working on that first full length after that?
We actually had a whole full length on Warped Tour. But then straight after Warped Tour, we kind of started writing for the next thing.
Oh, okay. So was it 2016 you did Warped Tour the first time then?
Yeah, we did 2016 and 20.
Sorry, man.
That's all right.
As It Is did the year before, so I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah, no worries. We just put out our first album in February.
Yeah,
something like that.
It was
January, May.
Early 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah, early 2016, and we just non-stop toured we did a UK tour. It was like Europe headline tour followed by, oh no, it was just fully Europe headline tour.
Yeah.
And then we came off that, went on tour with Against the Current.
Yeah.
Wait, how do we even know about them? Did we know? Yeah, I think it was them. Yeah, we did a tour because we knew them from the first US tour we ever did, and so we did Against the Current Europe tour. So we went Europe, then we went Europe again, then we did Japan for a week, then we came back and did Europe again with Simple Plan, and so we literally smashed Europe to pieces. We went everywhere in Europe with all these three different bands, and then came off that, then went straight to Warped Tour. It was just, and then came off Warped Tour, went to Australia, then went to the UK to do a headline Backbone tour. It was a busy year, and that was my favorite. It was one of my favorite years. It was just non-stop.
Didn't you tour with Good Charlotte around that time as well?
Oh, that time, yeah. Well, it wasn't a tour. It was just a one-off show in Manchester.
Oh,
they hit us up and they were like, "Yo, we love Rome.
Wow.
Can you do you want to do a show with us or something?" We were like, "Yeah." Yeah. And you know what's funny is that we played the Netherlands the day before, and we literally had to drive overnight all the way to Manchester from the Netherlands.
Oh my God!
And then we got
really?
there like dead, and we were like, "Yeah, we're here, present."
and was it worth it?
Oh, fully, mate. Do you know what's funny as well? Like, because it Warped Tour. No, we got the message off them like before that show. Like it was before the summer, and so we went on and did Warped Tour, and we didn't actually speak to Good Charlotte, but they actually did some. They did some shows at Warped Tour. It was a great Warped Tour, man. They had so many good bands on that one.
Yeah.
A lot of pop punk bands. And we did the APMAs, which is and I sung a song with Neck Deep.
Stuff,
yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
I did a song with Neck Deep where they had like loads of featured a load of people coming on and singing and stuff, and I came on and sang a Blink song. And yeah, and so at that time we were in the APMAs, and I saw the guys from Good Charlotte, and I knew that they'd contacted us and said that they liked our band, and so I just went up to them and went, "Hey man," and like to the guys, I was like, "I'm in Rome," and they were like, "Whoa, we love your band, dude." And I was like, "Whoa, really?" And they were like, "Yeah, we love you," and it was quite nice because it was like. They obviously didn't know who I was until I came up to them and just was "Hey, I'm in Rome," and they just loved it, and it was really cool. It was a really cool moment, and then from that we kind of had a nice little relationship with them when we went and played with them in Manchester, and then we were with them when we played Reading and Leeds. Mate, it was a busy year.
Yeah,
it was a busy year, and so we kind of chatted to them throughout that time, which was quite nice, you know.
Nice, man. And you mentioned before it was that like towards the end of that year that you started looking at putting together the record that you were going to put out in 2017.
Yeah.
And this is the first one you did that you actually recorded in the States, if I'm not mistaken.
It was our first time doing an album in not a place where we have to sleep on the floor. I mean, we still slept.
Okay.
No, actually, we didn't sleep on the floor for this one. We realised that when we did the one in Kent, Sam told me yesterday that we slept on a studio floor, like it was the studio floor, so the laminate wooden floor, for 5 days without showering the whole time and actually doing an album, and that was the Head Down album, EP.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were like, okay, we must have smelt really good every day, just 19-year-old boys just sweating in a studio in the summer, not showering for 5 days.
Lovely.
Yeah. So yeah, we were like, oh, should we do our album? Where should we do it? And so we were like, we hit up Kyle Black, and he was like, yeah, come out to California. And it was a bit surreal, really, doing an album, being like, we're going to go out and do our album in California. And it's funny because Neck Deep were out there at the same time doing their album with,
all right.
I can't remember what his name is, but So yeah, they were like nearby, and we went to like a hopeless kind of vibe party with Neck Deep, and yeah, it was a messy night. Yeah, lots of throwing up. But yeah, you know, yeah, so we did our Great Heights and Nosedives album over in California, which was a bit surreal, but it was like you go to California and you think you're going to the beach every day, but you're not. You're in the studio, you're in the indoors, and it's hot.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you notice a difference in terms of like the production and working with
mate.
Kyle, like that being the next level when you're in that environment?
Kyle sorted us out with our like structures, you know, like structures of the songs, like proper like looked into them, and actually like made sense of these songs and actually made them like not drag on too much, not have places where this doesn't make sense. Like, proper worked on them, you know.
Yeah.
And then his production, like, is still like one of my favorite productions of an album. Like the sound of it, the mix of it is just incredible. And I mean, it was still tough doing that album because we didn't actually have much written for it, and we kind of wrote a lot of it in the studio. But yeah, it was a great time, stressful but great still at the same time.
Yeah, like I remember when that album came out. It just, I mean, like you say, the production on it, I feel you could really notice the difference between that and Backbone.
Yeah,
and,
it kind of stepped us up, you know.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And then I think I saw you on what must have been one of your first tours of that album, just when you went out with Waster on a UK tour. I remember seeing you come play the Dome in London. Yeah.
Oh,
Christmas,
mate,
I think it was.
I love that show. That was a fun show. Yeah, that was sick. Yeah, that album did really quite well for us, you know.
Okay. Did that album kind of take it to the next level a little bit? Do you think from
in a way, yeah. I
things were
think
going with Backbone?
it grabbed a lot more people's attention, and Playing Fiction sorted us out. Do you know what's funny as well? Like, so Playing Fiction is the last song that we recorded. Was the song that we literally didn't work on like much at all. It was very like how we did it on the demo, just keep it how it is, didn't really change it at all. And then even from them we were like, I don't know, it's just a song, and we were so hyped on like another song being the first single, and every time we played it to people they were like, nah, Playing Fiction's the single, and we were like, what's he on about? No, it's not. No, it's not. And then we did, and we put it out, and it went on like every playlist, and we were like, whoa, okay, fair enough, maybe it is. Maybe it was supposed to be the single.
So I guess moving on to Smile Wide then, how did that get set up with Machine? Obviously pretty big deal over in Texas. Any reason why you moved on from Kyle there?
I like your little making of video on YouTube.
Oh yeah, the documentary.
That's fun. Yeah, that's fun. Sorry, man, I jumped in there. Go for it.
No worries. Yeah, we wanted to put out a documentary for it because it was just a bit like we were in Texas. It'd be very cool to do something cool and make it very Texas vibey. But yeah, so the way that we kind of wanted to do something different. At the time, we were kind of thinking, you know, we don't want to just put out the same kind of pop punk kind of record. We want to kind of do something different and kind of stick out a little bit more. Well, a lot more. And so we kind of experimented. Me and Alex wrote for like 3 months straight, pretty much every day with each other. It got very tiring, and I don't know if it really worked. Being so persistent on like the days, you know. But yeah, like and then so it came to the time where we were kind of deciding who to go with. We had this one guy in mind, and he seemed great, and we were very much certain that we were going to go with this guy.
Can you say who it is, or
nah, I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to say that, you know, we chose him over it or that kind of thing. because he's such a great producer.
Right.
But it was just a different kind of like, I think it was in this moment of our career that we wanted to do something quite drastically different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we Foley from As It Is told us how good Machine was, and we didn't really know much about Machine. And we were like, who is this geezer? He's called Machine. Who is this guy? And then the guys from we heard that guys from Grayscale were going in, and we're like, oh, fair. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe he's doing so. And apparently, like, he didn't do stuff for 2 years. And we're like, okay, so what's he done? And it was like, oh, he's done like Lamb of God. And we're like, what? Lamb of God? And As It Is, very, very mixed.
Different directions. Yeah.
Oh, completely different spectrums there.
But he did Fall Out
And-
Boy as well, though, right? That's,
Yeah,
a
he
bit
done some.
more on
He
there.
did some things with Fallout Boy, which is pretty nuts, isn't it? I don't know
yeah,
what he did, but
Nick, I don't know if you remember this, but Alex, we had Zach Savini on our show a while back, and he was just. That's how I first knew about Machine, because we were just talking about his career and stuff. Because he started firstly by working with Machine. I'm pretty sure he was saying before he went on to work with Feldman, and like that's
nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts because there's another guy called Will Putney who came from Machine as
Right.
well, and he's the guy that's done
Okay.
every single like heavy album ever. He done like Knock Loose, Stray from the Path, Counterparts. He's done all those albums,
Yeah.
and he came from like working with Machine, learning with Machine. So we went with the big dog.
You did.
Yeah, we went with the big guy, and when we chat, we were like 90% sure we were gonna go with this other guy, and
Right.
because we loved what he did and we were very excited, and he wanted to work with us, and we were stoked, and then we spoke to Machine, and he kind of just came from it from another angle, and it was just it sounded so great, and we were just like, yo, this guy sounds great. So,
Right.
And he kind of got what we wanted to do, and we were like, well, maybe we do it with this guy. And so we looked at the possibility of doing it with him, and he was like, yeah, I want to do the record with you guys. And so we were like, okay, I guess we're going to go to Texas then. So, yeah, we booked our flights and went out to Texas, started recording. Oh, mate, the place. I mean, you saw the documentary.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen the
saw it, yeah,
documentary, and to people that's out there, if you haven't seen the documentary, it's just a great little documentary just about writing an album. And, it's you don't have to like the band to even watch it to understand what's going on and I mean how great the place is that we did it in. It was just a very chilled.
Yeah, properly in the middle of nowhere by the look of it.
It was mental. Yeah, it was the most relaxed I've ever been doing an album, and it was beautiful. Every day, boiling hot, just gorgeous weather, and so yeah, we were just loving it. And yeah, from there, Machine just so creative, so crazy. Doesn't sit still. But yeah, proper helped me with vocals. We, doing it in such a different way to what I'd normally do, and all this kind of stuff.
What was your kind of reason for wanting to do something really drastically different? Was there anything what was driving some of that?
We thought that at the time the pop punk was hitting a ceiling. Right. We kind of wanted to stand out from it. So we kind of wanted to do something different in that way. We didn't want to just get lost,
Yeah, that's understandable.
So yeah, we kind of wanted to do something different, and it's not necessarily saying that we're always going to be doing something drastic all the time. It was just for that moment. I think we wanted to do that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference to Smile Wide to Great Heights and Nosedives,
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, how's that been then since you kind of got into the studio with Machine and got that out? Did you tour it quite hard before all this?
Well, yeah, we only did 2 tours until this all kicked off.
Yeah, I was going to say there wouldn't have been much time with the.
Nah, we did a co-headline tour with Confidence, and that was absolutely amazing. Like, we did UK and Europe, and it was beautiful. It was a great time. Shows were so packed, and they were crazy. I loved it. And then we just did that independent venue week tour, nice. and then the whole thing, coronavirus.
And then this hit.
Yeah.
So if you take the coronavirus out of the equation and we get over this pandemic, I mean, what are your kind of ambitions, or what does the next kind of 5-10 years look like for you guys? In your own mind.
Flipping heck.
In your own mind.
5-10 years. Wow.
It's like a job interview all of a sudden.
Yeah. I just want to. I just want to tour and release music and have fun, and yeah.
You say you're doing a bit of writing with other people at the moment. Is there any?
Yeah, just I don't do it that much, but I started writing with some other people. It's kind of nice. It's nice to break away from Rome for a sec. And when you break away from what you're like, when you're doing Rome, when you come back to Rome, you just got more like fire for it. I don't know. It's just a thing. I mean, yeah. But I can't wait to just get back out there touring and playing. Having it kind of feels like we took it for granted, having all that freedom of just going. Yeah, we'll do a tour. It's and no matter how many people turned up, it's just the fact you're doing a show.
Be interesting to see how they introduce all that again.
I hope it is soon.
Yeah.
I hope it is really soon.
I guess the issue is that the live music venues, you can't really get away with distancing and whatever you can.
Yeah, it is a close contact sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, unfortunately.
Well, they're starting the Premier League in a couple of weeks, so
yeah,
do testing at the door of live venues.
I mean, maybe it's gonna happen. I don't know, but yeah. Well, I hope it happens soon.
Alex, we want to thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Mate, I've loved it.
You've
literally heard the history of Rome.
I know. It's
from
been done
from when I've been at school.
We've just got a couple of just sort of standard questions to wrap it up, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
A bit of a generic question, but obviously since things really started blowing up for you in I guess about 2014, and you start with that Neck Deep tour and stuff. You've been on some pretty cool tours since then that I'm definitely envious of. But if you had to pick one as your favorite, what would it be?
I literally did this yesterday. I literally did this because my girlfriend was asking what was my favorite tour, and I had all my laminates out. So the laminates that you get from a tour.
Yeah.
And so you remember all the tours that you've been on, which is really quite a nice little thing.
Yeah.
And so I found them, and I was just going through them all, and actually I had to pick out my top 3. And so this was my top 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether
Reverse
it was
order, please.
It wasn't. I don't think it was an order. It was a very much I don't really know what would win, but these were the top 3. It was Warped Tour 2016. I mean,
right. Yeah.
Just great.
Speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah. Enter Shikari, Eastern European Tour. We were the biggest, messiest band, but it was so good. Yeah, I love that tour because it was very much like we were so naive, and we just got a van, and we were like, right, well, we're gonna drive to Turkey now. And it was just such an adventure. And we got denied through Serbia, so we had to go all the way around through Romania to get into Bulgaria.
Wow.
And it was a time where you didn't really have Google Maps. You were just following a little sat nav. Mm-hmm. Google Maps wasn't on it as much as it is now. And so you couldn't just load up where you were and just go follow this road. It was done through sat nav. And literally, it was the hardest thing, just trying to work out where we were going, really.
Any sketchy moments during that journey?
Oh, loads of sketchy moments. I remember we were going up a mount, like there was like this kind of like mount. It was in Romania, and we were going around this mountain, and we were like, we could run out of petrol, and then we just don't know what's going to happen from there. Because we were going through this mountain, and we were running low on petrol, and I'm like, well, I don't know. We'll just hope there's something on the other side. Well, not a mountain, but a very big hill thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, and you know, we were talking about all these like gangsters that could be hiding in the bush. I don't know what it was. It was our drummer. He was coming up with things like, yeah, didn't you know there's like gangsters in bushes in these areas? And we were like, really? Yeah. So we were kind of thinking that there was people ready to get us whilst we were on this tour.
You lived to tell the tale. It's all good.
Yeah, we lived to tell the tale. And the other one was not so much like the tour, it was more the fact of who we were supporting, and it was Sum 41 Kerrang tour.
Right. Yeah.
The shows were pretty tough because it was very much like a tough crowd, because all they just pretty much wanted Sum 41, and here they are. Here's Rome.
And I suppose Sum 41 obviously kind of branched into a mainstream audience who might have just come for the hits as well. So
yeah, definitely.
When you guys come out like with Backbone or whatever, it might just be, okay.
It was the Backbone time as well. So so we came out and did that, and it was the fact that it was Sum 41, big band in my life. Like when I was a kid, it was the first band that I was like, what is this? Pop punk. This was when I was literally in Derby, though. It was like when I was
right.
I don't even know. I was like 8 to 10 years old. First heard them, and I'm just like, this is so cool. It was my first CD. It was Sam's first CD. It was Alex's first CD, and we didn't even know each other at the time. And it was Miles's first CD. Oh, I don't even know. It was like most of our first CDs. I don't know. I can't remember who had it, but definitely Alex.
What were they like as people? Sum 41.
Oh mate, they were great. Like, Dave, was just such a legend, mate. He we were like, we're just great. Like, thank you so much for having us on this tour. And he was so like. You know, we went out for a curry. We invited them, and you know, Dave came along. We went for a curry, and he freaking loved it. And we just hung out and just talked to him, and you know, and he's such a beautiful guy. Like he doesn't care about whether you're, you know, an absolute big man in the music scene. You know, he'll just talk to you, whoever you are, and it's beautiful to see that. Like, you know, when they say, oh, like, don't ever meet your heroes because they're not what you think. Well,
sure.
Well, mine was blown away by how humble this dude was. So
bit of trivia
and then the rest of them as well, just so nice.
Bit of trivia about him. He's actually a Newcastle United fan.
Yeah, I know he is. He loves it. I was speaking to him the other day about the whole takeover in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And he's a bit unsure about it.
Well, it's all gone a bit quiet, so we're.
That's it.
Yeah. We'll not get into that.
It could be very exciting for you guys.
Yeah, it could be. There's piracy claims at the moment, though, from the Saudis, which is causing problems with the Premier League. So, yeah.
Oh, fair.
It's not what you want to get involved.
Not what you want. But yeah, and then we spoke to Derek, but it was very. So Derek was. It was the first tour coming back from, you know, his time of what he went through.
Oh yeah.
And so he did stick to himself a lot, but I did speak to him a few times. But yeah. And then, you know, we saw him again, and after that tour, and also we saw him when we did Warped Tour as well. Dave actually bought us a kettle as well because he knew how much we liked tea on Warped Tour. So he just came by our bandwagon and was like, "Hey guys, I bought you a kettle." We're like, "Shut up! What?"
That's very sweet.
So from then on, we had teas, and we were like, "Yo, just come round whenever you want." So he's coming around playing skate in our bandwagon.
Nice.
You know, it's just funny times, but just such a genuine nice guy. All of them are, all of them very nice people.
Awesome.
Is there anyone else that's kind of had you, as you were coming up, kind of totally starstruck and just a bit kind of wobbly at the knees when you met them for the first time?
I've never been that like starstruck by, like, I've never been like properly like nervous. I don't know whether I would be with other people or not, but I've always kind of just been like, hey, you right?
Right.
You know, just go up to someone and just be like, you're right, mate. You know. But yeah, like other really nice people are Good Charlotte. Like when we met them, they were so humble. They were so like,
Nice.
you know, they gave us advice and things like that, and just
Yeah.
And again, it's another thing where the whole, if you meet your heroes, you know that kind of thing, it didn't live up to it because they were so nice, and we were like, well, Good Charlotte are like lovely people too. It goes for everyone. Like everyone I've met is sound as.
Obviously, don't have to name names, but there's been no one that's let you down in that respect.
No,
there's no bands that
honestly.
you've toured with who you're just like, well, I'd never want to tour with them again or anything.
No, not really, man.
That's good.
Like, everyone's been great. I think everyone sees Rome as like the lovely, nice boys, the southern nice boys with British accents.
The band that you take home to your parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I get Chris. Unless you got nothing else, I guess we can leave on that note and let you go and enjoy the beach or something.
Oh, lovely.
One last just general sort of lockdown thing, I guess. Just curious, like what you've been listening to recently, and the cliche thing of what we're all asking each other, like what have you been watching to get you through lockdown as well.
Good question.
Then we'll let you go. I promise.
No, it's all good, mate. Well, I you know what, I don't listen to that much music. Like sometimes I'll have a day where I'm like, oh, I'm vibing. I want to listen to music, or I want to listen to a certain artist. You know, like the other day I went through a load of Simple Plan songs, just checking them out, just seeing how they do structures. Nice. It's kind of like a thing where when you're a musician, you are listening to the song and you're paying more attention to things like the structure than actually enjoying the song. So there I am, like listening to Simple Plan songs and just listening out to what their structure is, and then actually what the whole song is, you know. And then who was I listening to? I checked out Palo Royale's new album. I was like, what's this all about then? Pretty interesting. And like, yeah, not much, you know. Malevolence had a new EP out, and I think it's amazing. And then I listened to like a load of Set Your Goals just for good times, and because the summer's out and you just want to have a happy absolute pop punk.
Yeah,
it's a good time for it. But yeah, and then what have I been doing? Like, I haven't really been watching much. An odd film here and there, you know. Smashing a lot of FIFA though, for sure.
Nice.
But yeah, that's it really. I don't tend to get into programs as much, just because I get this like itchy feeling where I feel like I'm not making the most out of my time.
Right.
Like, but yeah, it's just like an odd film, you know. But yeah, that's about it really. Just been cycling and paddleboarding.
Yeah, I guess we can leave it there. Just want to thank you again, man. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
No worries, man. I've loved it. It's been great.
All right, man. Thanks so much, Alex.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Buddy.
All right,
Bye.
take care of yourself, man.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you liked what you heard, we'd love it if you could subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast, whether that's iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or anywhere like that. Also, check us out on social media. If you just search for Wasting Time Podcast on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, give us a like or a follow on any of those. And also, we love hearing from listeners as well. So Feel free anytime to drop us an email at thewastingtimepodcast@gmail.com, or obviously you can message us on social media as well. But yeah, we'll catch you next time.